Tummy time for infants? Is it in danger?
Don't worry, we've got all the answers, and we promise not to show our tummies.
Thank goodness. This episode is brought to you by Baby Bjorn. Adult tummy time is interacting with your little one while they're riding in a front carrier from Baby Bjorn.
A number of articles have recently appeared fretting that today's babies aren't getting enough tummy time, and this might have some negative consequences. Some alarmist pieces are suggesting that these consequences may reach as far down the line as the teens, 20s, or even 30s.
To understand why tummy time is important for infants, but why some parents struggle with it, we talked to our favorite pediatrician, Dr. Ari Brown.
Tummy time is really important for babies, primarily because they spend so much time on their backs. The recommendation from the American Academy of Pediatrics in 1992 was that babies sleep the safest when they're sleeping on their backs. There was a 50% reduction in sudden infant death syndrome when that recommendation came out. Babies sleeping on their stomachs are more likely to die of SIDS. So not only are babies spending a lot of time on their backs because they're sleeping that way, but also because they're reclined in an infant car seat or a carrier, and so they're spending even more time on the back of their head. And because their skull is growing with their brain and giving it room for the brain to grow, it's very malleable, and so if they're spending all that time on the back of their head, the back will actually become flat. I actually recommend starting tummy time at 2 weeks of life, and so your baby should be spending at least 5 minutes a day on his belly, and that can be divided up over a few minutes several times a day starting at 2 weeks. By 2 months, your baby should be spending at least 15 minutes a day on their bellies, and again, that may be divided up a few minutes over time. The sleep recommendations are still, as of 1992, to today, that the baby should be sleeping on their backs. That's the safest sleep position to prevent sudden infant death syndrome. Today's world has a lot more gadgets for babies and a lot more ways for a baby to be transported or put in a safe place so the parent doesn't have to be holding them all of the time. There is a price for convenience. So your baby is being carried around in these carriers, your baby is sitting in one of these carriers while you're trying to prepare dinner or get something done and needing your hands free. But the downside of that is that the baby is reclined and on the back of his head while he's awake and while he's asleep.
Dr. Brown makes a really good point that between putting babies down on their backs to lower the SIDS risk, combined with these new travel systems that allow parents to take the baby from the car, to the stroller, to the home, always in a reclined position, means that we just have to be really mindful about finding that tummy time for the babies.
And another difficult thing for the parents, when an infant is on his tummy, it's kind of like going to Gold's Gym. It's a workout. They get a little fussy, get a little cranky, make funny noises. What a parent can do is try to make it as fun as possible. Get down on the kid's level, interact with them, maybe even bring out some toys.
Yeah, because when I go to the gym, I totally make funny noises.
Oh, dude, that is disgusting. I did not need to think about that.
So about these studies, the interesting thing is that it's pretty clear that not getting enough tummy time causes developmental delays, because raising the head and shoulders, that's kind of the gateway to later, more significant developmental steps like rolling over or sitting up. And if the baby is delayed there, then everything else down the line is delayed. And some experts have even drawn some alarming conclusions looking at these studies, like these developmental delays linger into the teen years where kids struggle to do as well in the gym, or the 20s where they perform poorly on reading comprehension tests, even the 30s where people have weaker muscle strength. But these findings have been widely contested, and the leakages really are pretty weak.
While there's no substitute for tummy time, carrying your child in a Baby Bjorn front carrier can reduce the likelihood of, that flat head that they get when they're always lying down on a crib or in a car seat. Baby Bjorn, thanks for sponsoring this episode.
That's a great point, Less time on the back. Is getting enough tummy time on your mind? Join the conversation over at DadLabs.com. You've got dads, opinions, laughs, DadLabs. We want to see you there. You'll certainly hear from us if you're there. Thanks for joining us here in the lab, and we'll see you next time.